This is the sound a lot of worship guitarists love by themselves. It feels huge, it feels inspiring, and it feels like church. Now listen when the band comes in. Did you feel that? The guitar, it didn't get quieter, it moved away. The front of the note disappeared, and the timing got softer. The part stopped giving the song anything to hold on to. And that's why reverb isn't one of the 5 pedals I use to cut through a mix. Not because reverb's bad. I love reverb. Reverb, it can be beautiful. I still use it every day in a worship setting. I just don't ask it to do this job, which is to cut. So if the question is, what actually helps my guitar cut through a worship mix? Reverb usually isn't the pedal doing it. My last video was the no new pedals version of this conversation. Set the foundation, use less gain, turn down your wash, change your part, and then run the loop. So for this video, I'm assuming the part already belongs. It's already smaller. It's not crowding the singer or stacking up on top of the keys. It's leaving room for both. Now the question isn't, what part should I play? The question is, what job does the board need to do now? In every mix your guitar has to survive, it comes down to 5 jobs. Place, intensity, stability, movement, and voice. 5 jobs, and there's a pedal for each one. Place, simple, it's EQ. Intensity is drive. Stability, well, that's your compressor. Movement is your delay. And finally, voice, it's your amp, your modeler, your capture. Everything your tone is built on. And yes, I know the last one technically doesn't have to be a pedal. If you're still running live amps on stage, good for you. I'm jealous. But if it's on the floor, if it's feeding the PA, it's doing pedal board work. So that's how we're going to count it today. If you came here for pedals, good. We're going to talk about pedals. But the real win isn't the boxes. The real win is learning what each pedal is responsible for in your worship mix. Because for years, I asked the wrong question. I asked, how do I get louder? So I'd add more output, more gain, more ambience, more pedals. Then rehearsal would hit, the full band would come in, and my sound, my tone, my guitar, it was still missing, just in a more annoying way. So here's the thing about being a volunteer. I get 1 full band rehearsal before Sunday. I don't have an hour or 2 in a room to rescue 5 sounds that never had a clear job. So the better question isn't, how do I get louder? The better question is, what job is missing in the mix? That question, it changed how I see a pedal board. I stopped seeing pedals. I started seeing responsibilities. Does the guitar have a place? Does it have a tack? Does the voice belong in the room? And that last one, the voice, is the pedal most of us buy first, and I'm putting it last in this video. Stick around, and I'll tell you why. So let's take the jobs, one at a time. The first one is the one that makes a good part actually fit. The first job is place, and the pedal that does this is the EQ. Now, I want to be really clear about what this isn't. My last video, when your guitar vanished, one fix was to change what you play. Move the line up so you're not fighting the keys. Play fewer notes. Get out of the singer's way. That's changing the part. This isn't that. Here, the notes are already right. You're not changing what you play. EQ doesn't fix a bad part. It gives a good part a place to live. But even a good part can carry the wrong weight. Too much low mid, and the person running sound at the front of the house has to remove more of you just to make the mix work. Too much top end, and the room gets harsh. And guess what? You come down. Too scooped, and it feels big alone by itself, but vanishes in a full band mix. Listen to this. The part isn't wrong, but the tone is taking up space it doesn't need. Now, same part, same fader, same performance, different place. That's not just brighter. That's not just thinner. That's a lane. The EQ didn't make me louder. It made the guitar easier to keep in the mix. That's the place job. And this is where a lot of us get fooled. At home, low end feels good. In a band, low end belongs to the bass, the kick, and the left hand of the keyboard, sometimes even the acoustic player. At home, scooped mids feel smooth. In a band, those mids are often the exact thing that lets your guitar be found. If that sounds familiar, it's the whole point of another video I made, the one on why your tone sounds great at home and disappears on Sunday. That's a deep dive on place. This is the short version. So the Sunday move isn't make it louder. The Sunday move is remove what makes the guitar hard to mix. That's why place is first. It gives the right part somewhere to live. The second job is intensity. The pedal is drive. And if you watched my last video, this might sound confusing because I told you to use less gain. And this isn't me taking that back. More gain usually isn't what makes worship guitar cut through. More gain often does the opposite. It compresses your pick attack. It fills the low mids. It makes you feel bigger alone, but smaller with the full band. So why is drive on the list? Because the right drive isn't there to make you louder. It's there to give your notes a front edge. It adds attack. It creates contrast when the song needs a lift. Listen to the wrong version first. That sounds exciting by itself, but in the band, the note doesn't have a clear front. Now here's the same idea with less gain and more intention. That's the job. Not more dirt, more definition. Drive helps you cut when it restores attack, not when it buries it. And intensity doesn't come from the pedal by itself. It comes from contrast. If the verse is already huge, the chorus has nowhere to go. If the drive is already maxed out, the lift, well, it doesn't feel like a lift. So use your drives like a musical decision. Which section needs that edge? Which moment needs a lift? Which line needs to speak? That's the intensity job. Not to make the whole song sound bigger, to help the right moment speak. The third job is stability. The pedal is a compressor. And I know this is the one people argue about. Some players leave it on all the time. Some players hate what it does. Some players don't know if it's doing anything until they turn it off. Here's its job and why I care about it on Sunday. A compressor, it helps your small parts stay present without making you overplay. And that's the whole point. Because a lot of the parts that we play, they aren't massive. They're little arpeggios or simple lines that follow the vocal melody. They can be triads or single note hooks. Those tiny things, those are the ones that need to feel reliable inside a big band. Listen to the hands first. That's not a bad tone. That's a normal human hand. It's Sunday morning. The in-ears feel a little different. The room sounds different. And your touch is still settling in. So the first fix is still your hands. You play the part with intention. Then you let the compressor support it. Hear what it did? It didn't erase the pick. It didn't turn the part into a pad. It caught the edges, and it kept the quieter notes from falling completely out of the mix. That's the stability job. The compressor, it isn't there to replace your hands. It's there to help a good part stay steady. The fourth job is movement. The pedal, it's your delay. And this is where the reverb distinction matters. Reverb usually moves your guitar back. It's creating space. Delay, it actually moves your part forward. And that's the difference. But delay only helps if the part is good and the delay is controlled. Here's the part before the delay does anything. The part already moves. That has to happen. Now the delay has a job. That's movement. It's not fog. It's not a hall. It's not a plate, a cloud, not a shimmer. Movement. The delay isn't replacing the part, it's carrying the rhythm of the part just a little further. And that's why delay made the list and reverb didn't. Not because reverb is unusable, I love reverb, but because reverb, it actually helps you create size and distance. Delay can help with motion and definition. So before Sunday, try this. Turn the delay down until your dry note is out front and there's plenty of repeats. Tap in your tempo or lock it in with the song. Play the part. Then ask one question. Can I still feel the movement when the band kicks in? If the answer is no, the delay, well, it's probably covering the part instead of helping it. The fifth job is voice, and it's the one everything else plugs into. Your amp, your modeler, your capture, your core voice. For a lot of us, this is the amp now, and it matters. If the voice is too dark, the band's going to swallow it. If it's too scooped, it feels huge alone, but empty in the mix. If it's too fizzy, the room gets harsh, and the front of house has no choice but to carry less of you. This is the voice's job. And here's why I put it last. Gear culture, well, it usually puts it first. What modeler are you running? What capture? What amp? What profile? What cabinet? All of these things come up every day on my Instagram feed, and I'm sure it's the same for you. And listen, I care about all of that. I even make my own captures. They're available at sundayguitar.com. I love this stuff. But here's the truth. Tone matters. It just does not matter first. Because a great voice with no place, it still disappears. A great voice with no attack, it still feels soft. A great voice with no stability still jumps around. And a great voice with no movement still just sits there. So yes, choose a voice that survives the PA, but don't ask it to do every job. 5 jobs, 5 pedals to cover them. And before you buy 5 new boxes, look what you already have. Your modeler may already have an EQ, a compressor, a drive, and a delay inside it. You're not shopping for 5 logos. You're looking for one job your rig isn't doing. Buy the missing job, not the missing logo. And that's the shift I wish I made earlier. I spent years looking at my board and asking, what am I missing? Scrolling through Instagram and seeing the next great pedal, another gain, another ambient thing, another way to get bigger. But most Sundays, the better question is, what job is missing? Does the part have a place? Does it have a tack? Does it stay stable? Does it move? Does the voice belong in the room? That's how you stop turning up. That's how you stop blaming one piece of gear. And that's how you start serving the song. And remember, this doesn't mean every song needs all 5 jobs active at once. That would be a mess. Sometimes the job is place and nothing else. Sometimes it's a little intensity. Sometimes it's a tap delay that carries a line. Sometimes it's turning something off and leaving space. Every pedal has a job, but no pedal gets to decide what the song needs. That's your job. If you came from the last video, this is the next layer. That video was 5 fixes before you buy anything. This one was 5 jobs after the part is already fixed and correct. Same goal. Stop trying to be louder. Learn how to be heard. Because Sunday Guitar isn't about building the biggest and baddest board. It's not about proving you have the latest and greatest gear. It's about walking in, ready to serve the song. If you're a volunteer guitarist and you're trying to stop guessing every week, that's what this channel's for. Better tone, better parts, and ready for Sunday. Not perfect, ready. See you Sunday.